Sounds good. Like, what's like a good distance?
You want to be like right here if you can.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the AS candidate debates. My name is Christian Hauser. I'm the news editor for the Daily Aztec. To the right of me is Gabriel Schneider, the editor-in-chief of the Daily Aztec. And we want to first lay out the structure for the debate. It'll be 30 minutes long. We will give you the amount of time per question before we ask the question. 20 seconds before the question is done, we'll give you a warning to wrap up your answer. And if we could get an introduction from both of you to know who you are, that'd be wonderful.
Hello, everyone. I just want to take a moment and thank you all for coming today. It's absolutely critical that we participate in this year's AS elections, so thank you all. My name is Josh Dion, and I'm ready to be your next Vice President of Financial Affairs. A little bit about me. I'm a third-year business real estate major here at San Diego State, and I'm from Seattle, Washington. My leadership experience here consists of mainly in the Greek community. I first served as the president of Pi Kappa Alpha. Pi Kappa Alpha is the largest fraternity here at San Diego State, with over 200 members and a yearly operating budget of $300,000. After that, I became the president of the Interfraternity Council. The Interfraternity Council is a governing body of all social fraternities here on campus. I directly oversee 14 Greek communities and nonprofit organizations, as well as over 1,700 members. But I'm willing to take, with all my leadership experience now, into Associated Students, and I couldn't be more excited. Thank you.
All right. So first of all, I would like to thank the Daily Aztec for hosting this debate. I would also thank Josh Dion for coming here to debate with me, and I would also thank the audience for coming to this debate. And I would just like to acknowledge that we're in Kumeyaay land. My name is Leo Pena. I'm a third-year finance student. Some of my involvement in campus, I'm the VP of Finance of Pi Kappa Alpha and IFC. And I also have leadership positions outside of Greek life as well. I'm also the VP of Finance of Wishmakers at SDSU, which is a philanthropic organization. I'm also the president of the men's water polo club team here at State. I'm also a member of Tamid, which is a consulting and business club. And I'm also a member of Alpha Kappa Psi, which is a business fraternity. And some of my goals is to bring visibility to all of AS financial programs. I also want to be available to students for any financial help necessary, and I also want to bring service with Aztec's Raw Hunger. Yep.
The first question would be for Leo. What inspired you to achieve this role? And you'll have 2 minutes, or 1.5 minutes, sorry.
Yeah, so something that inspired me for this role has definitely been my parents. I grew up in Mexico. I was born and raised in Mexico. Growing up, I didn't have my parents weren't that well off financially. I remember they would always be at work from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. because that's what people in Mexico work for. And yeah, I mean, my family was lucky or blessed to be able to move to the United States. My dad got a promotion. We got the opportunity to move here to California, and just what inspires me is my parents, all the sacrifices that they made. And yeah, one of my goals in life is to be a financial analyst. So I took it upon myself to learn more about finance. That's why I'm a finance major. That's why I have multiple positions in VP of Finance. And I also want to serve other people. So of course I'm in Greek life, but I'm also in a philanthropic organization. I'm also in other business organizations. I just want to serve students because I grew up with financial struggles. I know that there's a lot of financial struggles, not only for individuals, but organizations as well. And AS offers a lot of great opportunities for financial need, housing needs, and food insecurity needs. Yep.
Josh, I'd like to point the same question to you. What inspired you to achieve this role? You'll have a minute and a half.
During my sophomore year here, before I became president of Pike, I got really involved with Aztec Rock Hunger, and that's what inspired me. I took it upon myself to make sure that our organization won the competition. I remember myself and a buddy, we went to Costco, and we raised over $4,000 and bought over 5,000 cans and drove them all the way back to state. And I remember, I believe it was Philip Burry actually coming to pick it up in a truck that day and seeing the smile on his face and the smile on our members when they came and we were sitting in the courtyard and were able to receive the award. So that was one of the biggest things that inspired me. I saw this year how great Sophia did and how much money that Associated Students was able to raise for Aztec Rock Hunger. But one thing I want to do is have more community outreach this year and partner with more organizations and see how much more money we can raise. I want to set a goal of raising $150,000 this year for Aztec's Rock Hunger. On top of that as well, being a real estate major, I haven't had a lot of experience in finance, to be completely honest. But during my leadership roles, I oversaw large budgets, and I didn't just handle the money. I had to work with each and every position on my executive boards to be able to allocate and see where that money was going and how our operations were going to be successful.
The next question will have a 3-minute time period. It will go to Josh first. The question will be, from your experience as president of the Interfraternity Council and former president of Pi Kappa Alpha, what have you learned from these positions, and how will you apply it to being the vice president of financial affairs?
I believe the most important thing I've learned is becoming a selfless leader. In these roles, I have to put other people first. Every single day, I have to worry about the well-being and success of all of my members. As Pike, I was directly in charge of over 220 members, but as IFC, I had to step it up, and I was directly in charge of 1,700 members. Also in these roles, I learned how to budget, and I learned how to run an organization to the T. We had to work, like I said earlier, we had to work with every single position on these executive boards to ensure that all areas of operations were met 100% of the time. And as the president of the Interfraternity Council, I have to directly oversee every chapter's success, financial success too, to make sure that, one, they're submitting their head taxes as well, and also committing to the overall success of the Greek community as well. I want to take these talents and what I've learned into Associated Students. I believe with these roles, it's much bigger than just handling a budget as the role of CFO of Associated Students. I need to be able to make sure to be able to manage Aztec Rock Hunger and outreach into the community and talk to as many people as possible and hear as many voices on this campus as possible, because I'm not going to be successful with just the Greek voice. I'm going to be successful by hearing every single voice on this campus, and I'm willing to listen and willing to learn from everyone.
Hello? Okay. To Leo, you'll have 3 minutes as well. The question will be, from your experience as the treasurer of IFC, Pi Kappa Alpha, and Wishmakers at SDSU, as well as the president of the men's water polo team, what have you learned from these positions, and how will you apply it to being the vice president of financial affairs?
Yeah, so first of all, one of the first things that I learned during all these positions of VP of Finance, it's obviously how to get revenue, where do you spend that revenue, how to maintain a healthy budget. Just like Josh, as the VP of Finance, I'm in charge of the entire budget of IFC, of Pi Kappa Alpha. I also supervise all the IFC fraternities in terms of finance. And these two positions in Greek life has definitely given me a lot of outreach to different Greek communities, not only in IFC, but CPA, NPHC, and other communities. So yeah, and it has taught me how to work with a wide variety of people. Because even if Greek life is like one big community, that community is subdivided in different sub-communities. In addition, with SDSU Wishmakers, it's a brand new RSO, but my experience in IFC and as the president of the men's water polo club team, which are both organizations under AS, I know the ins and outs on how to run an organization. I know the ins and outs of everything AS finance related. I know how I basically in IFC, Pike, Wishmakers, Water Polo, I'm in charge of doing all the financial forms that need to be submitted. I know Diana De La Rosa, who is the one of the financial heads in AS. In addition to that, I want to say that my experience, not only in Greek life, but everywhere else where I'm in, has given me a lot of a wide array of ideas and a wide array of student needs. I obviously understand the student needs of Greek life, but I also understand the student needs of people in philanthropic organizations, in business organizations, in club sports, which is a big part of AS, because AS is not only Greek life, AS is every student.
The next section will be a discussion for 3 minutes. The question is, both of you have chosen to run for different slates in this year's election. Why did you choose to run on this slate, and why is your slate better equipped for the role of leaders on campus? Either of you are free to start and to go back and forth.
Okay, so the reason why I chose to run with this slate of Lane Lucano as this United, it's because I deeply felt connected with our mission, which is strengthened by adversity, united by community. One of our biggest goals is campus safety, resource visibility, and expansion, and also making AS and SDC overall more inclusive. Obviously, me as a member of the Hispanic community coming from Mexico, I obviously have a culture, and the rest of our team, yes, we have members in Greek life. We have 3 out of A in Greek life, but everyone else is so involved in all the different other areas of AS and SDSU, and that's something that spoke to me because I wouldn't describe myself as only a member of Greek life. I also would describe myself as a member of AS club sports, philanthropic organizations, business fraternity organizations, business organizations, and everyone else in my slate bring different experiences and different ideas, and I think it's like the perfect melting pot to run AS. Well, yeah, to run AS.
What I love about this year's election is the competition. I think we can all agree last year it was a little bit underwhelming with only one real slate running. But this year it feels real and it's fun. And the competition is a lot of fun. And the reason why I chose to run with this slate is because it feels like a family. I've known this slate for probably the last 3 weeks, and I think we've spent almost every single day together in the last 3 weeks. And it feels like a family. It feels real. We hang out, we cry, we laugh together. And that's what a family takes in order to run Associated Students. Associated Students needs a group of people that can work so well together and understands each other's strengths and weaknesses. And in order to best promote campus safety, campus policy, everything that Associated Students needs to run perfectly, we're able to bring to the forefront at the school. Yeah, that's it.
I would just like to add on, if there's still time, the goals of my slate, they speak to me because, for example, safety, as a member of the Greek community and as a member of SDC overall, like one of the biggest concerns of students that they have told me is campus safety. So safety, it's one of the things that speak to me. Resources, AS, a lot of different organizations can apply for $3,000 each year for a wide variety of events. They can also apply for $1,200 for any travel expenses. So that connects with me because as a VP of finance of a lot of organizations, like I know what it feels to struggle with financial needs. And I feel like AS has the resources to help individuals and organizations to alleviate those financial, hardships. In addition to that, AS also has a lot of different programs for individuals, such as the ECRT, which provides housing needs, financial needs, and food insecurity needs to a wide variety of students. Me personally, I know a lot of people that use these programs, and I feel like these goals are not, or these programs resources are not as visible, and that's one of my goals. I want to make these programs visible, and I want to be a point of reference for every student in AS. And yeah, with my slate, we've known each other for the past. I've known Leanne for years now. We've spent the last 2 months together, and yeah, I feel like we have a good dynamic. Everyone brings a different aspect of SDSU, because SDSU is a lot of different. It's very diverse in a lot of different areas, and yeah.
We're still around.
If you would like to respond, you have time here.
How much more time? Sorry.
You'd have 30 seconds.
30 seconds. With a lot of the programs that Leo talked about as well, I want to keep implementing as well. With $110,000 allocated to RSOs across campus every single school year, we have the ability to create more outreach. One of the things that I want to install as VP of Finance is going around to all different types of organizations. During many of our walkarounds these last couple days, a lot of organizations don't know they can request that $3,000 that Leo mentioned, or the $1,200 for travel funds as well. I want to create an outreach program or even a task force that can go out and reach these organizations and be able to communicate with them and show them the proper steps that they're able to take to obtain these funds.
This question is pointed to Leo. You'll have a minute and 30 seconds. In your statement, you talked about planning on increasing visibility of AS as well as the Economic Crisis Response Team. How do you plan on doing this?
Yeah, so as Joe spoke, I also intend of having a task force of do walkarounds to multiple student organizations across campus. But in addition to that, I was also planning on implementing office hours. If I do get this position, I'll have office hours weekly, where students can come and ask me any questions about the EAS process, which EAS it's a process implemented by AS to get those funds. And as a student leader who is involved in a lot of different areas, I know that a lot of student leaders have difficulty with this system, and I just want to be a point of reference and a resource for them. In addition to that, I have outreach in a lot of different communities, such as the club sports community, Greek life, the College of Business community, and also like philanthropic RSOs across campus. So I feel like I also have the connections, the word of mouth to also market these resources. And in addition to that, I also want to implement more delegates into the FAC, which is the Financial Affairs Committee. There's only around 7 people that show up to these meetings that are only students. And I want to have a delegate from College of Business, IFC, College of Arts and Letters, of every big community across campus, so they can learn these resources and they can spread the word to their community.
This question is pointed to Josh. In your statement, you talked about using AS funds to create opportunities for students outside the classrooms. So our question was, how do you plan on using these AS funds to create these opportunities, and what opportunities are you looking to create?
So in my last statement, I mentioned that there's $110,000 allocated through the campus program funding to RSOs every single school year. In the last several years, we've seen that fund does not run all the way down. While I don't want to decrease the $110,000, I think we can better rebudget and resurface a lot of that money and put it back and create other opportunities through, let's say, the student union as well. I can work with my A-sub rep to create more opportunities outside of the classroom. We could send more money back to the Children's Center as well, too, to provide, to decrease the cost, because I know it's very expensive for faculty and also students as well to send their children to the Children's Center here on campus. That is a service of Associated Students. The Mission Bay Aquatic Center as well, too, is utilized by it had over 60,000 rentals this year as well, which is a huge number. So we could potentially put more money back into more equipment for them as well. The ARC, it's now LEED certified, which is amazing as well, but they're looking to obtain a double LEED certification. We could potentially put more money and more funding back into them as well. So these are all different sources of opportunities outside of the classroom.
We will go to Josh for this next question. It's a minute and 30 seconds. It will be the same question for both of you. So, as you are both involved in IFC and the same fraternity, what aspects of those positions and experiences you had in those fields will you be bringing to the position, but what would you also leave behind? As well as what will you do for fraternities and sororities on campus?
During the last several days, a lot of the walkarounds have been to Greek communities as well. And like I mentioned earlier, a lot of these organizations don't know how to obtain campus funding. That's something I want to make sure that every Greek organization on campus is well aware of, within all 4 councils. But I don't want to just stop at the Greek organizations. I want to try to obtain and create that task force, like I mentioned earlier, to go around to every student organization and see how they can obtain that money. Sorry. I want to go to every organization and try to see how how they can best use that money to support themselves.
Could you please repeat the question, please?
Of course. As you're both involved in IFC, as well as the same fraternity, what aspects of these positions you will be bringing to the position, and what would you leave behind? As well as what will you do for fraternities and sororities on campus?
Yeah, so some of the things that I'm going to bring is obviously my experience with finance, budgeting, knowing where to get revenue, where to put that revenue, how to maximize a budget. Because one of the important things about budgeting is like some people get the misconception that you have to spend every revenue that you have, and this is financially speaking, this is not the smartest idea. AS, yes, we have a budget of $36 million, but we also have expenses of around $35 million. So that $1 million needs to be allocated for the next year and for the next BP of Finance. So yeah, my experience in the Greek positions that I've held in Greek life, and also all the connections that I've made so far in the Greek community. One thing that I would leave behind is obviously my position of IFC treasurer. If I were to become the BP of Finance of AS, I would have to put more attention to AS and the entire SDC community, not only, and I would have to leave some part of my Greek life involvement behind. And one of the things that I want to help with fraternities and sororities is, as I said, I want to have a delegate from each big council of Greek life, IFC, CPA, NPHC, all of them. I want to have a delegate in a CPF, the CPF committee, which is the campus program funding committee, and also the FAC, Financial Affairs Committee, just so they can learn all of the resources that they can get. Because I know for a fact all of the fraternities and all of the IFC fraternities and CPA sororities have not applied for campus program funding, which is the $3,000 that I spoke of earlier, and they haven't used it and a lot of them don't also use the travel fund of $1,200, and I want to make these resources available for them.
So we'll have a 2-minute discussion / debate here. The questions that either of you can jump out and answer are, what are some of the negative things that you saw this year that you want to change? And what were some of the good things that you want to make sure you stay around?
I'll start with this. I think campus safety was was a big issue this year. It's very close to me. I had a dear friend that almost passed away from a fentanyl overdose this year, and that was really hard. And especially because I saw him several hours before the incident, and I woke up and got the call the next morning, and that was devastating. So instantly, as the president of IFC, I wanted to make a difference. I worked with my executive board, and we got our Narcan distribution out to every single IFC community, every single IFC chapter as possible, because it's hard to preach abstinence in the Greek community. But we're trying to make sure that we're saving lives. We're not here to preach abstinence. I want to make sure that all the Greek communities as well, too, also understand the Good Samaritan and the amnesty policy as well. All RSO organizations should know that on campus, because at the end of the day, we are trying to save lives. We are not trying to keep our organizations out of trouble. We are trying to make sure that we don't wake up and San Diego State is on the news. At the end of the day, we want to keep our students safe, and we need to make sure that campus safety and the policy is there in place to make sure that all students feel safe and loved on this campus. Yeah,
So I want to touch on something that literally happened yesterday. So one of the things that I thought was negative was the recent student fee for international and out-of-state students. As the VP of Finance, I want to validate that every student in college has financial troubles, no matter how big or small they are important. And raising student fees via an alternative consultation, it's blasphemy to me. I feel that this is like a ground that the SDC administration has pushed so far, and I feel that for every student fee, it cannot be an alternative consultation. It has to be a referendum, because the ones that pay for it are the students, and the ones that get affected are the students. It should be referendum always. And if I do get this position, I'm gonna voice my opinion, the opinion of most students in the board of directors and the CFAC committee. In addition to that, touching on to campus safety, like Josh said, I also have a lot of initiatives for campus safety. As some of you may know, we have a security guard here in the student union that only works overnight, and so we have one of the things that I want to do is I want to hire more security guards here in the student union, because I know that the truancy problem has raised concerns for students, faculty, and other employees of the SDSU. So I want to hire more security guards and throughout the entire day, not only overnight. And yeah.
Josh, you have 30 seconds if you would like it.
I want to circle back to campus safety as well. Over the last 2 semesters, I've had the opportunity to meet with the University Chief of Police twice. Here we talked about the Narcan distribution program coming from California State, able to distribute it out to as many organizations as possible and as many members, as many students here as possible as well. We were able to create a 30 to 45-minute program, and after that, a student is able to go to Cal Poly and pick up a Narcan for free. These Narcan is absolutely critical, especially because how close we are to the border. We see that San Diego State, a lot of drugs flow into our campus as well. So Narcan is absolutely critical as well. Students should not feel afraid to ask for help and should not feel afraid to be safe.
For the last one, we'll each give you 1 minute. It'll be a strict 1 minute. We are closing in on time. But what would you want to say to explain to the audience that you are the right fit for the role? We'll start with Josh.
I just want to thank you all again for coming out. I really appreciate you voicing your opinion here today and watching Leo and I debate. It's been an absolute privilege and honor. I'm the right person for this role because my role here at San Diego State goes above just managing a budget. I've worked with countless different people and countless different organizations to manage budgets and to manage different operations and create opportunities within our organizations as well. I promise to be able to be the best CFO possible. I promise to raise the most amount of money for Aztec Rock Hunger as possible. And I can't wait to do that for you all, so thank you.
Yeah, so to close off, I would like to thank the Daily Aztec for hosting this debate. I would like to thank everyone that is listening here in the audience. And yeah, I feel I'm perfect for this role because all of my experience in SDCU have led me to this moment. Every moment in my life has also led me to this moment. I'm not only part of the Greek life community, but I'm also part of a lot of different communities outside of Greek life. I bring a lot of experiences, concerns, things to improve on, not only in Greek life, but everywhere else on campus. I have connections everywhere on campus. Yes, I manage budgets. That's my main job as the VP of Finance for some of my positions. But I also collaborate with other people. I know how to work as a team. I know what the students want, what the students need. And yeah, I just want to point out that my goals, again, are to make visible all the financial resources that AS offers that a lot of people, a lot of organizations, a lot of individuals don't know about. I also want to increase campus safety, hire more security guards, and then making AS and SDSU more inclusive. I think that I bring a lot of experiences. My slate brings a lot of experiences, and yeah, I just want to thank everyone for coming out.
Thank you both.
Aztecs, it's Mackenzie Stafford here with the Daily Aztec. We're reporting live from the AS debates right now, where we just heard from Leo Pena and Josh Dion. They are running for Vice President of Financial Affairs. So if you missed that debate, you can listen in on our YouTube. This will all be posted there right after. Next up, we have the debate for the Vice President of External Relations. Who is going to be debating today? That's Melvin Ridley III and Noah Hakeem. We're looking forward to hearing from them as they're getting ready right now. As well as, if you were wondering about earlier, there were lots of questions about the Interfraternity Council, Greek life, things of finances throughout the campus, and how they would disperse that money. Let's go ahead and listen in right now, where we're about to get started with the second round of debates. Also, we will be live streaming tomorrow and the next day as well. We'll listen to some students after this on what they thought. Stay tuned.
Check. All right. So we're going to start off the Vice President of External Relations. My name is Gabriel Schneider. I'm the Editor-in-Chief of the Daily Aztec. First question is going to go to Noah. Tell us a little bit about yourself. You have a minute.
Hello, everyone. I want to thank everyone for being out here today. I know we're all students, we all have class, and it means a lot that you took time out of your day to come listen to these debates. I'm a third-year quantitative analysis economics, statistics, management information systems major with a minor in religious studies. Over my 3 years here at SDSU, I have been the president of the Middle Eastern North African Student Union, the vice president of Refugee Aid Initiative, the co-founder of the National Arab American Medical Association, Next Gen, here at San Diego State University. I have also served as the Student Diversity Commission representative here at Associated Students. I've also been a voting member on the University Islamophobia and SWANA Task Force, and all those experiences have given me insight into the beauty and the not-so-beauty here on campus. And I believe that through these experiences, through all the people I've met, my experience doesn't come from myself rather than the community I serve.
Thank you. Melvin, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Melvin Ridley III. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm a third-year student here at SDSU. I'd first like to start by thanking the Daily Aztec for hosting this event, my opponent for attending, and all the students in attendance here to support me as well. I'd also like to acknowledge that we are on Kumeyaay land, and it is a privilege to be at this university and a privilege to run for this position. Through my experience at the Black Resource Center as an academic coach, I have been blessed to work with such an incredible group of unique and intelligent people. Through there, they have provided me with the necessary skill sets that have allowed me to be equipped as a proper leader. I've also been fortunate enough to serve on the Board of External Relations for the past 2 years, where I have worked tirelessly to boost civic engagement and voter registration on campus. I believe that student advocacy is very important, and we as students have immense power in our voice. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you both. Melvin, this one's for you. You're going to have 2 minutes. What inspired you to try and achieve this role?
I think through my position at the Black Resource Center, I have understood the needs that students have on campus. I understand that students oftentimes feel like their voices are not being heard or represented on campus. Through the Vice President of External Relations, I want to include all communities in discussions. I want to bring in communities and hear their voices and hear their concerns so we together can work to make SDSU a better campus. We as students should be proud to attend this university. And I feel like that we as students can work tirelessly and effortlessly to make change at the highest level so every student feels welcome and secured on campus. Thank you.
Noah, what inspired you to try and achieve this role?
Thank you for the question. My father actually attended San Diego State University.
I am actually the son of two immigrant parents from Morocco. My father attended SDSU in the 1980s, and coming from a third world country and being here at SDSU helped him propel his career. My father did not come to this country with any riches. He came as a houseless student here at SDSU. Whenever he would drop me off on campus, he would tell me I had to walk my bike up the Montezuma Hill. Rainy nights, it didn't matter. 90 degrees, 60 degrees, I had to walk to school. And seeing how this institution, San Diego State University, gave my father, a man of color, a first-generation man, the ability to come and propel his life, propel his career, not only for himself, but for his community, for his family, and everyone that looks like him. That message of just being a prominent member in the community inspires me to excel and succeed and provide those same insights so every student here at SDSU, every student that I have the great pleasure of meeting, feels safe, secure, and like they belong here on campus. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. For this part, it's going to be 3 minutes. Noah, you're going to start off. As serving as president of the Middle Eastern North African Student Union, VP of Refugee Aid Initiative, co-founder of the National Arab American Medical Association, Next Gen, student diversity representative, and member of the SWANA Islamophobia Task Force, what have you learned from the different positions, and how can you apply it to this role?
I've learned that you can't apply a cookie-cutter method to every different community, and every single student has their own specific needs. Through being an active leader and an active member in all these communities, I've seen day-to-day struggles that my members had. A lot of our members in the Middle Eastern North African Student Union are hijabi students, and that's something that they can't not identify with. For those who don't know, the hijab is the scarf that Muslim women wear on their head. And a prominent concern that they did have was they don't feel safe walking to their car. They don't want to go to the library at night. They don't feel like they belong there because everything's dark. I don't know if I'm going to make it there safe or not. I set up programs within the Middle Eastern North African community and the National Arab American Medical Association for where any time a hijabi or female student did not feel safe on campus, one of our executive members would go and direct them and help them walk across campus. And I know this isn't a solution that is the best solution, but it's the only current solution here. I don't think anyone should require a personal bodyguard to feel safe on campus. I feel it's the role and responsibility of the university. And by listening to my community, I know that there's a growing concern about safety here on campus, especially at night.
Awesome, thank you, Noah. Melvin, in your time as academic coach at the Black Resource Center and secretary of the Black Pre-Law Association, what have you learned from the different positions and how can you apply it to this role?
Through my work at the Black Resource Center and as a secretary of Black Pre-Law Association, I've been fortunate enough to work with an incredible group of individuals. At the Black Resource Center, I helped support the Black Transfer Student Support and the HES program, the Henrietta Goodwin Scholars Program that supports our first-year students. I think one of the most important qualities that I have picked up from my roles is the ability to listen and effectively create change. And it's important that when us as executive members understand that we hold a position of power and students come to us voicing their concerns. When these students are voicing their concerns, they need to know that we are listening to them and are willing to work with them. I feel like through my positions, it has these skills, or I've been provided with skill sets that effectively allow me to understand student needs and to be able to work with communities and understand their difficulties and the problems they're struggling with. And then being able to work tirelessly to solve those situations and solve those dilemmas that these students are in. A goal of my position is to increase student advocacy and open the group and communication for these communities to come in and voice their concerns. And I'm willing to work tirelessly to ensure that every campus and community on campus has a voice. Thank you.
Thank you, Melvin. For this one, both of you can speak. It's gonna be for 2 minutes. Can you paint a picture for me and the student body of what the Vice President of External Relations does and what you want to see from it?
So on pen and paper, if you look on the AS website, you see a bunch of fancy buzzwords, Chief Communication Officer, you see External Relations Board, but this isn't the true meaning of being the Vice President of External Relations. Being an executive here at SDSU means more than just your pen and paper job. Your job is to go out to communities to listen to what their problems are. Communities should not be coming to you, rather you should be going to them. They should see you rather than trying to be seen. As Vice President of External Relations here on campus, I've seen great programs here for students. There's Project Rebound, which helps with recently incarcerated students to help succeed. We have the Children's Center, which helps nursing and pregnant mothers succeed while students. And with a growing number of different types of students here on campus, we need to ensure that everyone's needs are met. We often think of the traditional student as being the fresh out of high school, being 18 to 22, but there's no such thing as a traditional student. SDSU students come in every shape, size, form, creed, color, and any other identifying markers. One of the growing concerns I've seen here on campus are the veteran students here on campus. A lot of the students in my class are veteran students who have served this country, and they often feel like, I don't feel like a student. I'm an adult here, I don't really want to go out to the AS things, and that shouldn't be the case. Every student should feel like they belong here at SDSU at all times.
Can you please repeat the question?
Yes. Can you paint a picture for me and the student body of what the Vice President of External Relations does and what you want to see from the position?
So through my past 2 years on the External Relations Board, I have been able to gain powerful insight on what the role contains. So as VP of External, I work and I act as liaison between communities, connecting them with local legislators, state legislators, and even at the federal level. My job includes advocating for student needs and ensuring that those needs are being heard by the people that can effectively make change. For me, my, ideal external relations board represents the diversity that exists on SDSU. I want to unite the communities and bring them together, ensuring that they know that they have a voice and that I'm ready to listen and fight for their concerns. What makes SDSU so unique is that we have an incredible group of students that come from such diverse backgrounds. I can tell everybody sitting in the crowd right now, no one here has the same stories. But it's not the fact that, and that's what, not having the same stories is what makes everyone unique. Everyone has different concerns. Everyone comes from different backgrounds, and everyone understands and views things differently. It is important that we can bring all these diverse students together in a collective place so that we can effectively make SDSU better. It is our diversity and it is our differences that strengthen us. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. For this segment, it's going to be 1:30. Melvin, you're going to start off. In your statement, you said you would strive to facilitate intentional conversations between safety officers and students. How do you plan on doing that?
I'd like to first start off by mentioning that we do have a security issue. We do have a security issue here on campus. And I feel that we as students, especially paying to attend this university, have a right to feeling secure and safe on this campus. I would personally like to say that we must work together with university police and other security officials on campus to ensure that students feel respected. As a black man, I would like to say that I personally do not feel welcomed seeing university police officers walk around full in uniform or driving around on campus. That makes me as a student feel alienated and unwelcomed on campus. But I think that's important to recognize. It's important to recognize that not every student's needs and approaches to security are the same. That is why I want to bring students together to facilitate this conversation. Because we as students, as I mentioned, come from such diverse backgrounds, have such diverse opinions, and we need those opinions voiced when it comes to security. Security and feeling secure on campus is not a one-step, one solution fixes all. It requires understanding a diverse group of issues and problems and bringing those problems together to work to a solution that effectively allows students to feel safe and respected on campus. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, this is going to be 1:30. Noah, in your statement, you said you want to establish professional development programs to help advance student careers. What does that look like, and does it span across the colleges?
Thank you. Working within my own community, that's where that vision was born. My first year at SDSU, I didn't see anyone in spaces that looked like me. I didn't see people that looked like me coming, giving job career fairs, asking for interviews. So I co-founded the National Arab American Medical Association, in which we brought local leading professionals in the medical community here in San Diego to be direct mentors, offer internship positions, even offer jobs to Arab and Middle Eastern students. It's, as an Arab man here on campus, it's kind of hard seeing yourself in workforce places. When we have career fairs, you see all these huge companies, Deloitte, whatever it may be, but you don't see yourself there. But when students see somebody that looks like them, that talks like them, that's had the same experiences as them, they feel more open, more willing to work, and more passionate about working for this person. A lot of my members here at the National Arab American Medical Association have found internships, letters of recommendation. We work with the Caffrey Heart Institute, one of the largest cardiovascular institutes here in San Diego. We also work with the national chapter in order to secure scholarship funding, in order to secure any type of resources that students like me need to succeed. We make sure they have those. And doing it within my own community, I want to expand that to the university as a whole. Students need to be seen in spaces. If we want to make AS great, we can't preach that it's great. We have to show students it's great. They have to see themselves in the AS vision, they have to see themselves in career fairs, and they have to see themselves in all aspects. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. This one's gonna go to Melvin, minute and 30 seconds. In your statement, you said you want to utilize the Rock the Vote initiative to increase knowledge surrounding civic engagement. What current issues do you see with communication between the university, associated students, and the general body? How do you propose to fix it?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Of course. In your statement, you said you want to utilize the Rock the Vote initiative to increase knowledge surrounding civic engagement. What current issues do you see with communication between the university, associated students, and the general body? How do you propose to fix it?
First, I'd like to start off by saying that I recognize that there is a transparency issue on this campus. Students oftentimes do not understand the decisions that the university and administration are making and why they are making those decisions as well. Through the Rock the Vote initiative, I want to boost civic engagement on campus because student advocacy is the best way for us to create those changes that we want to see. Through student advocacy, we can ensure and hold administration accountable so that they understand that we want to hear and we want to know why they are making these decisions. I feel like as students, we have a right to understand and know what is happening on campus, and the administration should not hide behind closed doors making decisions that affect students. Even mentioning previous fees where essentially students are able to provide their feedback on the fee, but in the end, the decision is made by one person. That student feedback is not necessarily needed for that one person to make the decision. This is a problem on our campus, and we cannot actively go out and ask students for their opinions on fees and then completely ignore them when making decisions. We need to work together to ensure that we understand administration's decisions and where they are coming from. Thank you.
Thank you. This one's for Noah. It's gonna be another minute and 30 seconds. You said in your statement you're pushing for updated campus lights for safety. Do you have any other plans for safety? If so, what are they?
Yes. Let me just briefly highlight the lighting policy here on campus. I have many night classes, and I have to walk from whether it be GMCS all the way to parking 3 or parking 1, and it's a scary route, I'm not gonna lie. Being here on campus at night is not the best thing. We had just done a walk around with the Theta sorority, and their meetings are actually at night in the GMCS building. And one of their main concerns were, we don't feel safe walking back to our dorms, walking back to our houses. But why is that the case? Why is it that SDSU has a campus in which students cannot navigate safely? Students should be able to get to A and B anywhere on campus, and A to B should not be defined by the university, but rather the students. There should be every path here at SDSU should feel safe. Anytime you're on campus, you should always feel safe. And going back to increasing the safety initiatives here on campus, we also have the red and black shuttle. But a lot of students that I do talk to here don't know that the shuttle is accessible to them, don't know about this. And this comes down to the problem that I believe that AS is currently facing, where they expect students to come to AS rather than AS coming to students and highlighting initiatives and programs that will better them. AS is here to serve the students. The students are not here to serve AS. I always want students to know that AS is here for them. They don't have to beg for things. AS should be coming to them directly and asking them what resources, what services they need to feel safe, secure, and that they belong here at SDSU at all times.
Okay, so this next part, we're gonna have a 4-minute debate, and we're gonna be going over the things that you saw were an issue from AS, and some of the things that you saw that were good, and what you want to take. So we're just gonna open it up for 4 minutes, going back and forth, and then we'll cut off and give more people time if needed.
Okay.
As I mentioned previously, I feel like there is 100% a transparency issue on campus. I feel like the average student feels intimidated and unwelcomed by AS. As a person that has personally only served on one board in AS, I understand the intimidation behind it. My first year, I was extremely intimidated to even attend meetings. I felt like I would not be qualified. I felt like my voice wouldn't be heard, and I felt like I would not be welcomed into those spaces. Through my position on external relations, I want to ensure that I am going out to these communities and ensuring that I want to hear their voice. I want them to understand that there is power behind their voice and that their voice needs to be heard. We are all SDSU students, and we are what makes SDSU unique. So I think it's important that we as SDSU and as associated students are open to our student body. Just because we sit in offices up on the 3rd floor of the student union doesn't mean we shouldn't be coming down to the ground level where students are walking to class, where students are eating, where students are communicating with one another. We need to be more accessible as student leaders. Our power as student leaders comes from the student voice. We are only elected through the student voice and student opinions, and it is important that we hold to those opinions as executive officers. Thank you.
I don't want to make it come across that AS is this totally negative sphere. AS has some beautiful parts, and there's a saying, there's beauty in the struggle and ugliness in the success. Being AS is a double-edged sword. You want to maintain the programs and communities you have while excelling towards the future. One of the things I've noticed here at SDSU while being a student diversity representative is that when we go across campus, our main selling point is, hey, AS is the student union, we're Viejas, we're the ARC, and a lot of students just don't care. And the reason why they don't care is because we use a cookie cutter approach to every community. AS is you, is everyone here. You are all a part of AS. And the reason why students don't feel like they're a part of AS goes back to my previous talking point. They don't see themselves in AS. They don't think, well, what if there's a student that doesn't go to the ARC or doesn't go to Viejas or doesn't go to the ENS fields? AS has other resources and opportunities, highlighting basic need programs such as the ECRT, the Children's Center, Project Rebound. Students need to know that in every facet of their life, SDSU accepts them 100%. AS accepts them 100%. And one thing that I have noticed here at AS that I think needs to shift is when we talk about our transient folks here. Now, this is a very sensitive subject to me. My father was actually a homeless student here, as I mentioned. And it's not a question of providing security. When you use words like security, police force, to try to counter transient students, you make them seem like the enemy. This is not the route that we need to develop. We need to develop mental health incentives so we reach out to communities. We reach out to our transient communities here. SDSU is not just a university. We are part of the local San Diego community. Instead of sending police officers and security officers to go and kick out these transient folks, we need to focus on, hey, what resources do you need? Because it's one thing to pay somebody to come here and kick people out, but it's another to pay somebody to help somebody better their lives. Regardless if they're an SDSU student, they're still part of the San Diego community, and while they're on AS space, AS should respect everyone, regardless of socioeconomic background, creed, race, color, gender, sexual identity, and any other identifying marker.
Yeah. Melvin, you have a minute if you want to say anything.
Yeah, I just wanted to recognize that as a slate and through the people that I've been running with, we've 100% have valued the diversity that exists within AS and that we want to bring to AS. And recognizing that we as student government must work to support and recognize every student. Part of the reason for us wearing the color pink was to basically drive something different. We're always seeing students come out wearing red and black, right? Wearing pink, we're showing that we want to be inclusive. We want to create something different. And on top of that, it's Women's History Month. We're celebrating the incredible women that have helped make us and bring people like me into the position we are today. Thank you.
All right, so each one of you is going to have 2 minutes to explain to the audience why you're the right fit for this position.
I believe that I'm the right fit, not because I'm the best. I don't believe anyone up here is the best. I believe that using the word best alienates students. I'm not better than any student who decides to vote in these AS elections. I believe that my qualifications of being a direct member in my community, providing resources, listening, and going to other communities where that's not my community. Being the student diversity student diversity representative, I've met with multiple students. I've met with our Jewish community here on campus. I've met with our Latina community here on campus. I've met with various other communities. And like I was saying earlier, there's no cookie cutter solution, but there are common motifs within these communities that need to be fixed here on campus. And I believe my experience, both growing my own community and listening to other communities, makes me a qualified Vice President of External Relations to help represent and listen to the issues of all students here at SDSU.
Through my time at SDSU, I have already worked to put in the work to the position I am moving into. I've worked tirelessly and I've been on the streets boosting civic engagement and ensuring that students are registered for voting. I have worked within the board to bring in local legislators, including the mayor, to speak to students about issues that involve them. I feel like as students that we have immense power in our voice. We are the future, and it's unfair for people to, I guess, not listen to our opinions and say that we're not intelligent or aren't capable of understanding global issues. I want to work as your VP External to ensure that your voice is heard. We as students have immense power, and I feel it's time for people to start listening to us. Thank you.
Thank you both. That wraps up the AS elections for today. I think tomorrow we're going to be in the theater, if I'm not mistaken. So thank you for coming, and we'll see you tomorrow.
All right, that was the debate for the Vice President of External Relations. We heard from Melvin Ridley III as well as Noah Hakeem. They both had very interesting points to make today about how they would outreach to different communities outside of San Diego State and make it safer here on campus. If you would like to, you can listen back to that debate on our YouTube and you can see what they had to say. We will also be back tomorrow, again, live streaming from 12 to 1, where tomorrow we'll be hearing from the Vice President of University Affairs, the candidates that will be debating for that, as well as the Executive Vice President. And we will also be live streaming again on Thursday, where we are going to be hearing the debate for president. And Associated Students elections, the voting is going to start opening on March 20th through the 23rd at 7 p.m. If you would like to vote, that is when it closes. And we should be getting these election results around 9 p.m. that same night. So we're looking forward to hearing back from that, and we'll be here again tomorrow for these debates. Thank you all for tuning in.